In case you're wondering what I'm drinking, this thing right here is the excellent Indian ginger tea. I simply love this thing. Let's start a mind-blowing Monday. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, my name is Vibor. I am an executive agile and leadership coach based in Toronto, Canada. And in this video, I'll give you 3 steps that you can use to measure your performance as a Scrum Master and teach others how to measure your performance as well. That's right, you'll have to teach them because they pretty much have no clue how to do that. There are timestamps available in case you want to skip to your favorite section. Let's get started. Step number 1, performance is subjective. What I have in my hand here right now is an iPhone, and it doesn't matter which model it is a few years old and there are better versions of it in the market right now, but that's not important. For me, what matters is its performance. Since I create videos, the performance of this phone will depend upon its camera quality. In my case, call quality doesn't matter because I mostly use WhatsApp. But if this was my wife's phone, it had to pass the call quality test before she could call it a high-performing phone. So the performance of this phone depends upon, well, who's holding it. Performance, therefore, is subjective, and performance measures depend on the observer, their opinions, feelings, and their general impressions. This principle applies to every single living or non-living thing on earth. And yes, the same principle applies when it comes to measuring your performance as a Scrum Master as well. Your performance as a Scrum Master depends upon the expectations that the people that you work with have of you. So the first thing that you need to do when you start with a new team is to get clarity on those expectations. Now, something that I used to do as a Scrum Master was to have a conversation with my immediate team and my manager, create a list of the expectations for my role as a Scrum Master. Having a list made it easy for me to focus on what mattered the most. But there's more to it. Step number 2, divide expectations into categories. Now that we have a list of what's expected of us, it's now time to divide that list, those expectations, and put them into dependent and independent categories. Also, don't do this exercise alone. Ask your team to help you with this categorization. For example, educating your team on agile mindset, values, and principles is an expectation that is not dependent on your team's performance. It's a task that you as a coach must conduct, and hence this expectation falls under the independent category. You can show your progress in this category by merely running agile educational sessions for your team on a regular basis. Also, don't forget to send optional invite to your manager for visibility purposes. Okay, it's now time to look at the second and the most important category, expectations that are dependent on your team's performance. Your progress on these expectations maps directly to your team's performance towards becoming a high-performing team. Now, there are several agile health checks available online that you can use to measure your team's agile maturity. But those health checks are not the right measure of your team's performance. Agile health checks help you measure process improvements. It has nothing to do with the value you bring to the company. For this reason, I designed a simple but efficient system of my own, the Team Elevation System, which I later documented in the form of coaching cards that you can download for free. Link is in the description if you want to check it out. Okay, let's quickly walk through these cards. When you start with a new team as a Scrum Master, you begin by rapidly establishing a baseline on your team's psychological safety and the stage of the Tuckman model that they are currently at. These coaching cards guide you step by step on how to establish that baseline, providing you with a convenient score in the end that you can easily share with your team and with your manager. After establishing the baseline and determining the current Tuckman stage for your team, you can use the exercises provided in the coaching cards to help your team transition from low performing to high performing stages, consistently measuring their progress along the way. This consistent progress of your team from forming to performing stages is directly proportional to your performance as a Scrum Master. Step number 3, calculate business value delivered. Now, with all that, you for sure can measure your performance as a Scrum Master. At this point, you have a choice. You can either stop and enjoy the comfort zone, or you can go one step further and prove the real value that you and your team bring to the company. The ultimate measure of your and your team's performance is the business value delivered. Apart from the return on investment, the business value delivered can also be measured as the goodwill created, risk reduced, brand recognition, and market share captured. All of these can be monetized in terms of money saved or profit generated. Let's take the example of a compliance team. They do not directly create money for the company, but they do keep the company out of hot waters. They help the company save money on legal claims. We can easily monetize the reputational risk that the company will run into by not having a compliance team. Now, your product owner must know how to monetize your team. Most of the product owners that I worked with didn't know how to do that, so I had to coach them. But if you don't know how to do that yourself, then it's a good idea to involve a member of the sales team to help you learn how to monetize your team. Salespeople can monetize anything, so become their friends. DevOps is another way to measure customer satisfaction and business value delivered. More on DevOps in a future video. Proving your worth and value to the company in terms of business value delivered goes a long way. As your team's ability to deliver business value grows, so does your performance curve. And guess what? You don't even have to prove that to anyone. The results speak for themselves. Here's a quick summary of all the steps that we just discussed. So there you have it. These are 3 steps that you can use to measure your performance as a Scrum Master. If you like this video, then please do not forget to give it a thumbs up. Also, please do not forget to provide your valuable feedback in the comments. I'll see you in the next video.